Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Good afternoon to all of you, and I welcome you all to Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Today is 26th of April. Let's get started. Today video is little bit late because there was some unavoidable work that came. So every class, guys, we start with the GS quotation. Today we are going to take quotation from Ban Ki-moon, former UN Secretary General. So Ban Ki-moon says that climate change does not respect border, it does not respect who you are, whether you are rich or poor, small or big. Therefore, this is what we call global challenges which require global solidarity. Now, climate change is the shared problem of everyone. All the rich countries, rich people, poor people will equally be impacted by that. So therefore, we need to come together to solve this particular challenges, find the differences that are there between the developing and developed countries under UNFCCC. They should be resolved. Fine. So this is about it. You can use it in essay as well as you can use it in GS paper number 3, environment, ecology and conservation. Now moving on, and let's discuss first article. So here we have this article, can green credit benefit India's forest? Now this article will take with respect to GS paper number 3, GS paper number 3, issues related to environment and developmental issues, GS paper number 2. There also we are going to see this article. So let's get started with this particular article. So article, before going in this article, I would like to give you basic background information that is there so that you can understand this article in a better way. So this article is actually talking about the green credit program. Now they have not much explained about the green credit program. So this green credit program was recently announced by Ministry of Environment. And in this particular program, what happens? Private individuals, corporates, organizations, they can come together and they can come together, and what they can do, they can start the they can do these particular activities which are written here. For example, they can involve in a tree plantation, they can involve in water management projects which includes managing and conserving the water bodies. They can involve in sustainable agricultural practices, waste management, air pollution reduction, mangrove conservation and restoration. And if they do these particular activities, what will be happening? They will earn this green credit. They will earn this green credit. And this particular green credit can be traded, to whom it can be traded? It can be traded with the corporate. Corporate can use this green credit to set off their corporate social responsibility, or corporate, if they are diverting the land of the forest, fine. So for afforestation, for compensatory afforestation also, this green credit can be utilized. So this is the idea of this green credit program that has been launched. Now the analysis of this green credit program, that whether it will help India's forest or not. So positives as well as negatives we are going to discuss in this particular article. So let's get started with this. So now first of all, arguments in the favor of green credit program. Okay, arguments in the favor of green credit program. Number one, it is said that what it will do, it will incentivize the environmental conservation. It will incentivize environmental conservation. Now, in this particular capacity, guys, understand this particular thing, that basically, what will happen? Number one, private individuals, they will plant trees. Why they'll plant trees? Because they have an incentive that if they plant tree, they will earn credit, and that credit will have some monetary value. That credit can be sold to a corporate. So by that, what will happen? Environmental conservation will be incentivized. Community participation will be there. And when people as a community will come together, fine, it will lead to it will lead to substantial afforestation and plantation drives. So this is something that is there. Then basically what we are doing here, we are utilizing the market based incentives. So entire market of demand, supply, fine, similar to the carbon markets, can be developed. And what it can do, it can actually bring, potentially it can increase the funding for environmental projects. Even private sector, big players, they will come and they will invest in the green projects, because along with these, because these green projects has a lot of associated benefits. Then next is flexible and innovation conservation efforts have been needed. Now often we see this particular thing, that corporates or the government, they have limitations in conservation. So basically recognizing that particular gap, including the private sector, can be a win-win as well as an innovative approach solution. Then there are certain concerns or arguments against this green credit program that we have. Okay, arguments against the green credit program. Now, when we talk about the arguments against, the first argument that we have is that it will basically what will happen? Fine, it will be used to circumvent environmental regulation. Now, understand this particular thing, guys. What will happen? What will happen? Industries that are there. What will happen? Industries that are there, what they will do? They will rampantly clear the jungles, okay? And in lieu, they will buy this green credit with the money. So what is happening? Basically, indirectly, you are sanctioning, indirectly, you are allowing the rampant cutting of the forest just by buying this particular green credit. These, what will happen? What will happen? The corporates, rather than taking the clearance and themselves doing the afforestation, they will expedite the forest clearance by buying these green credits. Second, that what will happen? It will lead to substantial ecological damage. Now see, this particular the focus is too much narrow on planting the trees. Now understand this particular thing, that when we talk about planting the trees, what it can lead to? It can lead to harmful monocultures. Only one type of plants might be grown, or those kind of plants might be grown which are not native to India. Invasive species, okay, invasive species can be grown, which might damage local biodiversity, will disrupt the ecosystem. So this is the problem. Fine, how you will identify that the suitable crops, native trees are being planted? So this is the concern. The next concern is that basically when we talk about, guys, ecological services, ecological benefits of a big forest, ecological benefit of a big forest, they are huge. They are far more than just the monetary value of timber. Now understand this particular thing. Understand this particular thing. So there is a challenge in measuring the ecological benefits that are there. For example, now see this particular thing. Just I'll explain you with the help of an example. See, now green credit program has been brought. Okay, green credit program has been brought. What individuals are doing? Individuals are just planting the trees. They are planting trees, and in this capacity, green credit is generated. Now, some corporate, they want the land. They want land. They will cut all the jungles, all the forest and for that they will buy suitable number of green credit. Now you see this thing, that trees that were there in this forest that they have chopped down, there might be trees which are 100-year old, which provided shelter to lot of birds. Also, they have helped in binding the topsoil. They have helped in rejuvenating the ground of water. So point is that when we talk about the nature basically nature's value is not just in the terms of the timber or the wood that's there. Nature's value is far more than that in the terms of ecological service. So how those ecological benefits that are there, they will be measured. Okay, so that will complicate the entire process. The next issue is that there is uncertainty in long-term impact and verification. Now see, you have planted the trees today, but how well these trees are thriving, how well these trees are thriving tomorrow. So for that particular thing also, robust auditing practices are needed. But whether these verification after the trees have been planted will be there or not, that is something which is not very much clear. So these are the concerns in this particular capacity. Okay, now moving to next question, the war on Gaza and America's paradoxical role. Now this particular article talks about US foreign policy amidst the Israel war that is going on. US foreign policy amidst the Israel war that is going on. Now, guys, we see this thing that there is a conflict going on in Gaza, which got started after Hamas carried an attack on Israel on October 7, 2023. Now, Hamas attacked Israel, and then Israel, in retaliation, has started attacking the Hamas. But actually, what is happening? Hamas up till now has not been uprooted, and it is people of Gaza Strip who are actually bearing all the burnt. These are the people of Gaza Strip who are actually bearing all the burnt. Now, when we talk about US on one hand says that we promote global peace, They always say that we are the promoter of global peace, but at the same time, US is responsible for the continuation of war in Israel. Why? Because US has provided unlimited military, financial aid support to Israel. Now you see this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about US has been a staunch ally of Israel and has helped in military and economic capabilities enhancement of Israel. Now you see this thing that today US gives huge funding to Israel, and 16% of Israel's military expenditure it is provided by USA. Fine. Moreover, understand this particular thing that this support has continued irrespective of the administration of power. There is a Democratic Party, there are Republicans, all have provided support to Israel, and this can be seen. It was there in the time of Donald Trump, it is there in the time of the Joe Biden. Also, US, what it does at United Nations Security Council or at United Nations General Assembly, whenever any resolution is floated against Israel, so USA tries to bypass all these particular sanctions. Even in the Congress, if there are now the demands that have come that ceasefire should be imposed, but US does not seem serious in this capacity. Moreover, understand this particular thing that what has happened, US also nudges the Western countries also that they should defend Israel's action. They should defend the Israel's action. However, domestically also now there is a pressure that there should be ceasefire. So it is important that what US needs to do, US needs to critically assess its role and influence on Israel-Palestinian conflict. Now see, till the time US will be there, Israel will have this psychological military assistance. All these ease will be there in Israel, and Israel might never go and will talk with Palestine. So Israel-Palestine relations can never recover if US will support Israel in this capacity. So what needs to be done? US should actively engage in international efforts to secure ceasefire rather than sponsoring Israel to fight the war. So they should try to bring a ceasefire. This is something that is there. Also, what is done? US administration need to respond to domestic pressures. Domestically, there is a pressure to bring a ceasefire. US needs to respond to that, and US needs to also promote a transparent and accountable foreign policy which takes in account the human right and international law. Whose human rights? People of Gaza, they are suffering. So their human rights should also be kept in mind. So this is, guys, all about this article. I hope you have understood it. And now moving to next article. New test for special learning disabilities in adult on Anvil. This article will take with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to social justice, and within social justice, issues related to disabled people. Issues related to disabled people. Now, moving on, guys. Okay. So basically, now the union government has announced that they will be coming out with a new test to diagnose specific learning disabilities. Specific learning disabilities. Now, before going in this particular article, few things you need to understand. Basically, guys, like see, we have Rights of Person with Disabilities Act 2016. We have this Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. Now, this particular act, what does it provides? It provides for the reservation in the government jobs and higher educational institution, fine, receiving the government aid. So basically, reservation in government jobs, fine, reservation in government jobs as well as higher education is provided. Now, people who are having learning disabilities, they are also eligible to receive the reservation. But problem is that adult people, they now don't have any diagnostic test by which they can get a certificate that actually they are having certain specific learning disability. Now, understand this particular thing. When we talk about the specific learning disabilities, they are actually introduced for the first time in 2016. And when we talk about the assessment for learning disabilities, there is an IQ, intelligent quotient assessment, that is done, and there is a separate SLD assessment that is done. Now, this assessment can be done through the NIMHANS, National Institution for Mental Health. Fine. So this assessment can be done through the test designed by NIMHANS. Okay, so grade level of assessment devices. So this is a device, through this test can be done. Now, first certification is given at the age of 8, then repeat certification is given in class 10 and class 12. Okay, so the students who are right now in school, they can get this SLD certificate. They can get this SLD certificate through this NIMHANS test. But in 2016, when this specific learning disability was recognized for reservation, at that point of a time, many people were there who were not in schools, who were not in colleges, they were adult. So how they will get themselves tested and how they will get a certificate? So there was no solution for them. And in this capacity, even in Supreme Court, there is a petition that is going on that there was an absence of diagnostic method, or there is an absence of diagnostic test for this specific learning disability. So this petition is already have been filed. Now, finally, what government has done, government has said that we are coming out with this new test for specific learning disabilities, and this test will be for adults. And by the end of the year, this particular test will be announced. Now, this test, as we talk about it, it has been designed by National Institute. It has been designed by National Institute for Empowerment of Person with Intellectual Disabilities, Telangana, in Telangana, Secunderabad. So this is all about this particular test and this particular development. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. Now moving to next article. Do resources of individual belong to community? Asks Supreme Court. We'll take this article with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to polity. Issues related to polity. Now, what has happened? So basically, guys, there is a hearing going on in Supreme Court with respect to the scope of Article 39B. Now, when we talk about Article 39B, Article 39B, now this is an article in the DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. And this article provides us that the state should design a policy in such a way that the ownership and control of material resources were distributed to best serve the common good. Means material resources of a society should be divided in such a way that the common people, they get their fair share. So that common people get their fair share. Now, issue that comes here is that actually there is no definition. There is no definition of this material resource, that okay, what does this material resource include? So basically what happened, Supreme Court has asked Attorney General and the Union government that whether all the material resources created by individual human labor, they constitute the resources of the country. Okay, are all the everything, wealth, house, property that has been created by human labor, is all this the material resources? Fine. Is all this the material resources? Now, what happened? Attorney General has replied that all things in the material world which are available and are made available by human interaction or by human engagement constitutes the material resources of the community. So, everything that you see, fine, which has been made by human labor, it is material resource. Even Supreme Court judge then asked that, okay, are you saying this particular thing, that my car, my home that I have made, that I have earned by my hard work, that is also the material resource? Okay, so basically the reply that has been given, it seems that yes, that is also the material resource. So basically this indicates a socialistic model of society. Now, up till now, final judgment has not come, but you should be aware about these particular things. Moving on. Next article that we have here is this courting action. Courting action. Now, this particular article, guys, it talks about recent developments where multiple food related companies find they have been subjected to public scrutiny because of the inferior quality of products that they are selling, also because of the misleading advertisements that they have shown. Now, this becomes an important topic with respect to the GS paper number 2 and GS paper number 3, consumer rights with respect to health and ethics of advertising. Ethics of advertising, this becomes important. Fine. Now, moving on. So, basically, guys, what happened? Supreme Court has recently observed this thing that union has to activate itself. Union has to activate itself. Union has to be proactive. Why? Supreme Court said that. Supreme Court said while hearing the case against the Patanjali Ayurved. Now, Patanjali, they have shown a lot of misleading ads and they have made pseudo claims. They have made pseudo claims with respect to their Ayurvedic products that they have a magic type of qualities. This is something that is there. Now, what has happened? Supreme Court has said that union government has not taken any action against the Patanjali company for publishing the advertising where they have shown untested pseudo-scientific cures of COVID-19. They have claimed that they're one of a medicine that they came out with coronal. It will cure COVID. For diabetes, they have shown that our drugs do cure them. Now, this is unsubstantiated claims. You cannot show them. Fine. Now, Patanjali, they have issued a public apology, but up till now, no action has been taken against them. Moreover, Supreme Court also observed the reports that recently Nestle, which sells Cerelac, they contain more sugar than the sugar is contained in Europe and other countries. In Indonesia, even 6 gram of sugar is being provided, which is way more higher. So basically, FMCG companies, FMCG, fast moving consumer goods companies, they often publish this misleading advertisement. They'll advertise that our products have added vitamins, they have more iron, but without any report, without any justification, they are giving these particular claims. Also, what has happened, manufacturers, they say that their product includes some vitamins in order to escape scrutiny, but actually their product is completely a junk product. Also, court has asked the Ministry of Ayush that why it is not acting on the bad advertising. In fact, Advertising Standard Council of India has flagged these advertising by the FMCG companies even in Patanjali, but nothing has happened. Now, when we talk about ASCII, that is advertising, when we talk about ASCII, that is Advertising Standard Council of India, it does not has power to force orders for the compliance. Fine, it does not has the power. Also, FSSAI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, it has specified the permissible ingredients in various food products. But what is happening? Neither companies are following it, nor FSSAI is taking some action. In this capacity, what happens? What happens? Basically, social media influencers, fine licensed medical practitioners, they come on social media and reveal these things. The point is that when we talk about India, India already is facing non-communicable disease burden. And what is the big reason for these non-communicable disease? Consumption of excessive sugar, excessive salt. They are related to hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. So now the time has come that we need to be really proactive on this particular things, and we cannot just wait and watch. This kind of attitude will not serve. So this has to be ensured. Moreover, corporate also need to ensure this particular thing, that corporate greed, fine, is not something, corporate greed is not something that will do. Supreme Court declines petition to end collegium, revive NJAC. Now, guys, when we talk about a judicial appointment, particularly judicial appointment in higher judiciary, that is High Court and Supreme Court, appointments are done by the collegium of judges. For example, in case of Supreme Court, there will be the collegium headed by Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most Supreme Court judges. In the case of High Court appointment, there will be the 2 senior most Supreme Court judges. Fine, in the collegium, they will do the appointment. Now, what happened? Government came out with the NJAC, National Judicial Appointment Commission. Now, this National Judicial Appointment Commission was given the power with respect to appointment of Supreme Court, High Court, as well as the transfer of the judges of High Court. But in 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, Supreme Court declared the NJAC as ultra virus to the Constitution of India. It was said that it goes against the basic structure doctrine, as it is reducing the power of judiciary, and it was held as invalid. Now, again, some person has filed a petition in Supreme Court saying that to end the collegium and again to revive the NJC. So Supreme Court had said that matter has already been settled on this. Fine, why you are again reviving it? So basically, Supreme Court has declined to entertain this particular petition. So this is, guys, all that has happened. Okay, fine. So guys, this is, guys, all about the important articles in the today's newspaper. Okay, and one more thing, guys, I say this thing, okay, that every day there are so many entire around 90% pages filled with the election related news. Please don't waste your time. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you, that there was one more article with respect to the RBI's draft rule for payment aggregators. I read that entire article, but article did not contain any substance with respect to the UPSC examination. Okay, so that is all about it, and with this we come to an end. Fine, now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourselves. Thank you.